I guess I should start by saying, welcome to my humble room. So, so how's everyone doing today, guys? My name's C Codes, and yeah, so officially moved back into my house for the summer. This is where I'll be for the rest of the Bad Batch vlogs, at least until summer's over, and then I gotta go back. I might do another vlog series of a show. I don't know of what yet. There's a lot of shows that I really wanted to talk about, and I just don't know whether I should be talking about each episode separately or in terms of a season. Like, for instance, Invincible. Like, I've talked about Invincible. I mean, not on my channel, but just in general, and I feel like maybe I can go back and break down each episode and just talk about each one. Actually, I probably will. So yeah, I guess that expect an Invincible vlog series sometime soon. But for now, I'm just gonna be doing Bad Batch. So let's talk about this. Bad Batch episode 3, Replacements. A lot of layers in that one. Because, yeah, so in terms of these 3 episodes so far, this is the shortest one. This is 27 minutes long, whereas episode 2 was 30 minutes long, and episode 1 was an hour and 14 minutes long, excuse me. So this one, it's a short one, and it kind of feels short. You do feel like when it's wrapped up, you're like, man, it felt like there could have been more at it, but I don't mind. I think it was a solid episode for what it had to give, and I would agree that this was the most filler-like episode of the 3 so far. I guess that makes sense because, not much really happens for at least the Bad Batch, because they crash on a moon. Because in the last episode, when they were escaping from the clones, they were taking a lot of shots were being hit or taken by the clones, and it was obviously hitting the ship. And so in this episode, we get the repercussions of that. They're in light speed, then they get pulled out of light speed because the ship is failing. But for Tech, he's like, but the life support is still up, so we're not gonna die. And yeah, so in this one, yeah, basically for this team, it's them on the moon repairing the ship, and a few things go wrong. For instance, when they're crashing, Wrecker hits his head, and he spends the rest of the episode, like, holding his head, like, right where the inhibitor chip is. So they're kind of hinting at Wrecker, possibly. Something's up with Wrecker now. And so they talk about the chip a little bit more in this episode, and that, whereas in the last episode, they talk about, like, him going through orders and, like, him being this completely different person, whereas to this episode, they talk about the actual personality of the clone changing because of the inhibitor chip. And I like how Tech's like, again, wait, you guys didn't know that? So I'm wondering if it's going to get to a point where Tech is going to explain pretty much everything, or at least some key things that happen. Well, I mean, I can see that. I feel like he would adapt to that, having to explain some of the more complex things to his team, because again, you don't want them to be left in the dark, just making the assumption that, oh yeah, they know how this works. For fans, fans know how it works, but for these guys, they don't. Or at least Hunter, Echo, and Wrecker. Omega seems like she knows exactly what's going on, and she just hasn't had to fully explain it yet, because that's not exactly the whole point, or at least that's not the point for this first half, or I mean for these first 2 episodes. In this 3rd episode, though, when they do bring up the fact that the inhibitor chip does change the personality of the clones, they then realize, oh, well, maybe if we had the chance, we could get Crosshair back to normal and all that. So, I mean, in terms of what we've seen with that, with Ahsoka and Rex, that could work. But I'm wondering if the longer one has the chip, the more effective it becomes to the actual clone. Like, if you remove the chip, how much of them is actually going to be there? Is it going to be like they were in this kind of like dream, like trance or something? Or is it going to be slowly influencing them, being like, no, this is the way, Gotta work that in somehow. Speaking of Crosshairs, we finally get to see him again. I mean, granted, it was only one episode where we didn't see him, so this episode, I didn't mention this in the first episode, I didn't mention this in Aftermath, but he has brand new armor. And if anyone knows Star Wars, it's basically the Death Trooper armor. At least the first generation, I would say, of the Death Troopers. And I almost call them Death Watch, because actually that would be pretty ironic and funny if they called them Death Watch. Because technically speaking, if we're going off the Mandalorian, Jango Fett is a Mandalorian, so it wouldn't be too crazy if they then donned the Death Watch name onto. Okay, I'm already way off now. So Crosshairs in this episode, he is in charge of this new squad of Death Troopers, or at least the 4 most elite fighters that they have that are non-clones. So I found that interesting. that Tarkin and General Rampart, I believe that's his name, he becomes Admiral by the end, so Rampart, which is the dude in episode 2 who was talking about the chain codes, like it was that hologram dude who was talking about the chain codes in the last episode. He's here, and he's seemingly in charge of this stuff, and he has Crosshairs lead this group into completing what Bad Batch didn't complete in the first episode, and that was go after Saw Gerrera and liberate them, or, execute all of them. And so we get to see Crosshairs go through with that with this team, and I didn't know how to feel about it, because they really only gave personality to this one character. Of the 4, there's 4 of them, and only one of them got actual dialogue, or at least dialogue that stuck. And it was him just saying, like, well, I mean, I got food, I got a roof over my head, I got benefits, more than what the Republic gave me, right? So, yeah, and then he does butt heads with Crosshairs, or at least he tries to butt his head with Crosshairs, because he mentions how if the clones are so efficient, so, resourceful, then why are they being replaced with humans? Why are we being thrown into this? And so he gets a little too cocky, saying that sooner or later he'll be in charge. That doesn't last long, because Crosshairs. So they go to Guerrera's camp, but he's not there. And the second they said Guerrera's not there, I'm like, everyone's gonna die. Or at least that's my original thought. I mean, because I was thinking, they're all gonna die, but I'm like, wait a minute, how far are they gonna go with this? Because again, this is like, is this gonna be the Clone? Are we going down Clone Wars path, or are we going down the Rebels path, where we won't, because anyone who's seen Clone Wars knows how dark it can get in Clone Wars. Rebels is a little more lighter when it comes to the actual carnage of war. This is Clone Wars. We're in the Clone Wars, because we do get this. They kill everyone, and we don't get to see the civilians get killed, but they don't have a good fate either. It's a flamethrower. And honestly, it just catches me off guard every time I see something like that. I'm like, flamethrower in Star Wars? Okay. It's like, I mean, it's weird, because we've seen it. Like Mandalorians, they have that in their armor. It's like, but still, it's a flamethrower. And yeah, so the Mr. Cocky dude, originally, Crosshairs was interrogating everyone, asking him where Sakurera was, and this one person was like, I don't know, even if I did, I wouldn't. And then Crosshairs doesn't even let her finish, just like, boom, blasts her. And I just love D. Bradley Baker's voice for Crosshairs. Like, he's got this deep, creepy voice, and he doesn't give. And it's just like he's just like and the lady's like, I don't know, and even if I did, then he just shoots her, and he's like, I believe you. And it's just like, it's so creepy, and I love it. I love that. And yeah, and so obviously he goes to the civilians, who just say they were just promised transport off world. Crosshairs doesn't care if they don't know where Sakurera is, then just execute them. But the one cocky dude says like, whoa, no, they're people, they're civilians, we shouldn't be. Crosshairs, boom. It's just like, orders are orders, follow orders. It's like, dang, it's like, dang. And I like that. I like how Crosshairs is in charge, because it is putting the fear factor into this. Like, again, he's questioning, this one dude was questioning why clones are not being used. But I wonder if, Crosshairs, yeah, he's very influenced by the inhibitor chip, and so he will do whatever it takes now to get the order done. So, and if it means taking out someone who's refusing orders, so be it. And so to see the look on the other people's faces when he shoots the guy, you do have the fear. The fear is being put in. And so I wonder, and I like the idea of Crosshairs being in charge, even though technically speaking, clones are slowly being obsolete. Just the idea that he's in charge because he will do whatever it takes to get the order done. So that does fear into everyone that works for him, because if they screw up or if they go against him, they're dead. Like, he proved it right there and then. He will not hesitate to shoot you if you don't want to follow orders. And all I gotta say is, when are they gonna start hunting the Bad Batch? And another thing is the Kaminoans, or the Kamino people. I keep forgetting what they're called. But they are worried that, obviously, with the clone army not being produced now, they're going to lose everything. But they said that if they can just retrieve one of the members of the Bad Batch, or they're like, we only need one. And I'm like thinking, okay, so they're probably going to go after Omega, because there's a lot of theories going around. The main one being that she is she's technically Palpatine's daughter. Like, there's that theory that they got Palpatine's DNA and they made her into hybrid, like a clone, so she's technically a clone of Palpatine as well as a clone of Jango Fett. And so there is that. Obviously with Rise of Skywalker, kind of trying to fix that and plot hole, being like, because that was I love how that was the first thing on everyone's mind. It's just like, wait a minute, so if Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter, then who did Palpatine go to town with? So this would be interesting if, Palpatine didn't even know that he had a daughter, right? Maybe he will find out. Or maybe he already does, who knows? But if they do go down that route that, she actually is the clone of Palpatine, would be an interesting idea, would be creepy, but it wouldn't be, I wouldn't be against it, because one, it would fix Rise of Skywalker a little bit, but two, the fact that Omega, in this episode, I like what she does in this episode. One of the main things that, the main thing that happens with her in this episode is that she and Hunter have to go retrieve this part that a creature took from the ship. And they said that this creature likes to consume energy. So as they find out, so the part that he took was a converter, or I think it was a converter or something that they need to fix the ship, but the creature took it. And so Hunter wants to go out, and so Hunter says he'll track it, but Omega wants to come, and Hunter agrees. And I like how she is kind of mimicking Hunter more and more. And it makes sense because, you know, of the group, she does seem to have the biggest connection with Hunter. And that's probably because Hunter is the most connected when it comes to kids. Like, I mean, as we saw with Kaden in episode 1, you know, he was the one that tried to calm him down, tried to like convince him that they were on his side. And so I get that he is able to work with Omega a little bit, and even Omega is learning from Hunter. You know, it's like he's tracking this creature. You know, he's picking up dust, he's rubbing it, and she's wondering how exactly is he tracking it. And she's like, and he just basically explains, like, since it's his desired mutation, he's able to easily track him better. And so I wonder how it does work for that. I wonder if it's just simply like an instinct for him to like find like a scent, or maybe like he has like he has like hunter vision or something, or he's able to see tracks. I don't know. That would be a cool idea. But I would get it if they don't do that, because again, it's just like put on visor, turn on infrared, and see the footprints, like, you know, a Star Wars. And yeah, so they find the creature, they find the piece, but they do get attacked. Hunter loses his mask, so because they're on this moon, they have to wear masks to keep breathing. And I'm just gonna say, there was a moment when, before the creature took the device where they're on the ship and you just hear all the noises. You got your this isn't okay. I got the this isn't okay vibe. Like, it was so creepy. They're just moving around. You got you're just them in the ship. You're just hearing everything, and it's like, you can even get the music too. Like, I'm pretty sure it was the music from Empire Strikes Back in that scene. And it was so funny. It was creepy but funny. I really got a chuckle out of that, just being like, okay, we're doing this. But yeah, so Hunter and Omega, they run into the creature. The Hunter gets knocked out, loses his mask, and Omega does get him, like, save him. She gets the mask back onto him, but he's still out cold. So and the creature runs off with the device and goes into a tunnel. And so Omega realizes that she has to find it and retrieve the device. And I like this part. So she goes into the hole. She has Hunter's blasters, but she doesn't use them. I mean, at least, and you know, at first she finds the creature and she's scared, but she has the flashlight in one hand and she has the pistol in the other. But then she notices something about the creature. She when she sticks the light in its face, it roars, but then she turns off the light, and then the creature just it calms down. It looks around. And so Omega realizes that the flashlight, again, because this is a creature that consumes energy, so she figures out that all it really wants is something to eat, and that has energy, and so she just tosses she turns on the flashlight, tosses it aside, the creature goes after it, and eats it. And so she also gets to see this, as the creature eats the flashlight, it starts glowing this green thing, like there's a green, vroom, vroom thing going on with it. And so while the creature's eating that, Omega just picks up the device and leaves. I think that's a pretty, and I like that because it shows that, one, she won't always, I mean, granted, I could have easily seen her blast it and be like, okay, cool, she knows how to, because we've seen her use a blaster, we've seen her shoot, so we know that she can shoot, we know she isn't afraid to pull the trigger. But I like this idea of her looking for another way to get the device without harming the creature, because she realizes that's the point. The creature isn't there to harm her, it's just looking for something to eat. And luckily it wasn't looking to eat a person, it was looking to eat something with energy, and so she tossed the flashlight aside, creature ate the flashlight, and Omega escaped with the device. So it's a clever way to show that Omega isn't going to be like a straight-up fighter, you know? She's going to actually use her head to think of other ways around the problem. And with the Bad Batch, Bad Batch technically being like a group of soldiers, so she first asks questions later, or at least for the most part, as we saw in episode 1 with Hunter, refusing to actually follow orders. I think this is a cool little hint that Omega is going to be something big or something more important with how she fights, how she handles situations. Yeah, so, and I'm just glad she didn't have to be rescued. That was what I was worried. I was worried that they were gonna have her be in trouble again, and then Hunter had to go save her. But so I'm happy that she's able to go in, deal with the creature, get the device, get out without having to actually be rescued. And she even hands back Hunter his blasters and said, "Don't worry, I didn't have to use them." So nice. So they escape on the ship. They get back to the ship. They fix the ship and they leave. And this was a pretty sweet moment. Wrecker shows Omega what he's been doing the entire time, and he actually was making her own room on the ship, because they mentioned at the beginning that she didn't really have a place to sleep. All she could sleep, she basically was sleeping with the gunk droid that was there, the giant bomb. And so Wrecker decided to turn the tail gun of the ship, that little cockpit area, into her own room, and she loves it. And I just love it when I see her eyes light up. Like, her eyes just seemingly light up when she sees it, and she's just so happy. And then, like, of course, Wrecker's like, I mean, it's not my best work. I mean, if you know, but then Omega's just like, I love it, and it just, it's so cute. It's so cute. Oh, it hurts, but it's cute. It's like every time I see Grogu in freaking Mandalorian, like everyone else, he's like, dang, that thing is cute. Alright, yeah. But, is there anything else? They do mention, so, Crosshairs Team, Tarkin mentions that it's now gonna be Rampert's job, Rampart, or whatever the guy's name. Tarkin puts him in charge, makes him admiral. And so probably the last time, I mean, I doubt this will be the last time we'll see Tarkin, but I won't be surprised if we don't see him as much as they kind of alluded in this episode. So whoever this Rampart guy is, I mean, he could be intimidating. I don't know. I don't like him at this point. I mean, I don't like him. I mean, I'm not saying I hate him. I'm just saying, like, if this is a bad guy that the Bad Batch is gonna have to deal with, are you sure this is gonna be good? I mean, when I think of, like, agents that have gone after them, you know, like the Inquisitors, obviously they're Siths, so they're very intimidating. Even Agent Callus in his first appearance, you know, he's just like, he's standing there, he's got that demeanor, and he's like, this was not merely a theft of a few crates. This is a spark of rebellion. It's just like the way he talks. Here, it's just some guy saying, like, yes, they are well trained. I'm happily honored to help. Like, the way he delivers the lines, it doesn't sound intimidating in my mind. If they really wanted to allude that this is going to be a dude that really is some big bad, I'm hoping there's going to be a point where he just, like, shows off his true colors. Like, he really will show that he's got this more sinister side to him. You know, something like that. I mean, Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels, he was, you know, he the way he talked was very calm, but it still felt intimidating. So, I don't know, that's just me. But overall, I thought the episode was great. Thought it was fun. Can't wait to see what the rest of the show will do. Looking forward to see what episode 4 is going to bring. But for now, yeah. Okay, so, alright. With all that said, thank you for watching. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you want to subscribe. You don't have to. I'm just saying. And, yeah. We'll see you all in the next one.